Greetings to all viewers. This is Professor Ankit Singh. We'll now move to the next topic, that is grade compensation. Okay, let us try to understand what is grade compensation. Okay, while a vehicle is negotiating a horizontal curve, if there is a gradient also, then there will be increased resistance to traction due to both curve and the gradient. Okay, so while a vehicle is negotiating a horizontal curve, when it is traveling through a horizontal curve, okay, we already know that there is a resistance due to that horizontal curve. Okay, we studied this in my previous lectures. Okay, and there is also a resistance provided due to the gradient. Okay, if the gradient is an upward gradient, then there is resistance to movement. Okay, then in such a case, the total resistance should not exceed the resistance due to the gradient specified. Okay, so there is a maximum gradient which is specified. There should not be resistance exceeding that specified resistance. Okay, if the resistance is more, okay, due to the combination of resistance on a gradient and resistance on a curve, if the combination is more, then it would be very difficult for the vehicle to travel. Okay, in such cases what we try to do is we reduce the gradient, and in case while we reduce that gradient, what happens is the resistance also will reduce. Okay, so if a curve needs to be introduced in a portion which has got the maximum permissible gradient, then some compensation should be provided so as to decrease the gradient for overcoming the tractive loss due to the curve. Okay, so there is some traction loss, okay, due to the presence of a curve. Now again, if we introduce a steeper gradient at that portion, then it would provide more resistance to travel. Okay, we do not require that. So what we do is, in such cases, thus grade compensation can be defined as a reduction in the gradient at the horizontal curve because of the additional tractive force required due to curve resistance. Now what is this tractive force required? T is minus T cos alpha, okay, where T is tractive force, which is intended to offset the extra tractive force involved at the curve. Okay, so grade compensation is nothing but reducing the grade that we have provided on the horizontal curve so as to reduce the resistance that is provided to movement. Okay, now IRC gives the following specifications for the grade compensation. Grade compensation is not required for grades flatter than 4% because the loss of tractive force is negligible. Okay, so for any grades which are flatter than 4%, we do not consider any grade compensation. Okay, and grade compensation is given by 30 plus R divided by R. Okay, so in order to find out the grade compensation value in percentage, this is the formula used, 30 plus R divided by R, where R is the radius of the horizontal curve in meters. Okay, and the maximum grade compensation is to be limited to 75 by R percent. Okay, assuming that while we are designing, if we get the value of 30 plus R by R as 2.5%, but the maximum grade compensation value, that is 75 by R, is 2%, then we need to adopt this value, that is 2%. Okay, you getting my point? That maximum grade compensation that can be adopted is 75 divided by R. Now we need to consider one more point here. Why are we only trying to reduce the grade? Okay, why can't we just increase the radius of the horizontal curve so as to reduce the curve resistance? Well, we have already learned that once the alignment is set, okay, the alignment is set up during the initial process, even before the construction. Okay, so once the alignment is set up and the road has been constructed, we cannot change the alignment of the road. Okay, if we try to change the alignment, it will incur in a huge construction cost. Okay, we'll need to break down that road and reconstruct it, which would lead to huge construction costs. Hence, in order to avoid such construction, what we do is we lower the gradient values, or we provide gentler gradients. Okay, now the next topic is vertical curves. Okay, we already know what vertical curves are. They are the smooth curves which are used to smoothen the path of the connection between two gradients. Okay, now there are two types of vertical curves, that are summit curves and valley curves. Firstly, let us look at summit curves. Summit curves are vertical curves with gradient upwards, okay, or a convex shape. Okay, the curves with a convex shape are known as summit curves. They are formed when two gradients meet, as illustrated in figures, in any of the following four ways. Okay, there are four conditions by which a summit curve can be formed. When a positive gradient meets another positive gradient. Okay, so plus n1 is the first positive gradient and plus n2 is the second positive gradient. Okay, these dotted lines, they indicate the gradient. Okay, and the solid line indicate the vertical curve that is provided. Okay, so when you try to join these two gradients with a smooth curve, this is the summit curve that we obtain. Okay, and what is the deflection angle? Deflection angle is capital N, which is nothing but the difference between these two gradients, that is plus n1 minus of n2. Okay, the second condition is when positive gradient meets a flat gradient. So plus n1 meets n2, that is n2 equal to 0, since it is flat. Okay, so these are the two gradients in dotted lines, and this is the curve in solid line. So here the deflection would be capital N is equal to n1 minus of n2. Okay, but since n2 is 0, the capital N is equal to n1. Similarly, third condition, when an ascending gradient meets a descending gradient. Okay, so plus n1 meets minus n2. Okay, here the deflection angle capital N would be n1, that is plus n1 minus of minus n2. So minus into minus is plus. So capital N equal to n1 plus n2. Fourth condition is when a descending gradient meets another descending gradient. Okay, now here the difference is this descending gradient, that is minus n1, has a lesser value as compared to minus n2. Only in such a case a convex curve would be formed here. Okay, so what would be the deflection over here? Minus n1 minus of minus n2. Okay, so minus into minus, it would be plus. So this is n2 minus n1. Now this here is an illustration of a summit curve. Positive gradient meeting a negative gradient, okay, joined by a smooth curve, that is nothing but a summit curve. Okay, while designing the length of the summit curve, the conditions that we consider are SSD, that is stopping side distance, and OSD. Okay, now what we do is we try to design this curve using both SSD and OSD conditions, and for whichever value the length of the summit curve obtained is high, we adopt that value, okay, as the standard design length of summit curve. Now let us have a look at the formulas used. Okay, so summit curves can be designed using two criteria for either SSD or OSD. Okay, now firstly under SSD, that is stopping side distance, if the length of the summit curve is greater than the SSD value, then we use this formula, and if the length of the summit curve is lesser than SSD, we use this formula. Now this is initially a assumption, okay, since we do not know the length of the summit curve at the start, okay, but we do know the SSD value. Okay, we can find out that using the formulas used for stopping side distance. Okay, or it might be given in the question. Now what we do is we firstly assume that let capital L is greater than SSD, and we use this formula. Okay, what is the formula? Capital L is equal to N into S square divided by 4.4. What is N here? N is nothing but the deflection angle. Okay, and what is S? S is the stopping side distance. Okay, we use this formula and we obtain a value. Now if this obtained value is greater than the SSD, then our assumption is correct. Okay, since at the start itself we had assumed that length is greater than SSD. Okay, now if the value obtained is lesser than the SSD value, then what we do is we go to step 2, that is this condition. In this condition, what is the condition here? That length of summit curve is lesser than the SSD. Here the formula given is L is equal to 2 into S minus 4.4 divided by N. Okay, where S is stopping side distance and N is deflection angle. Now if this condition is not satisfied, then obviously this condition will be satisfied and the value that is obtained here will be used. Okay, now this was for SSD conditions. For OSD conditions, what is the formula given? Again the assumptions would be same. Okay, firstly we will assume that length is greater than OSD and we use this formula, and if this formula fails or the length that is obtained is not greater than OSD, what we do is we go to the second assumption, that length is lesser than OSD, and we use this formula. Okay, what are the formulas used? L is equal to NS square divided by 9.6 in the first condition, and if this condition is not satisfied, then in the second condition we use the formula L is equal to 2 into S minus 9.6 divided by NS square. Okay, where N is deflection angle and S is OSD. Okay, so using these two criteria, what we do is we find out the length of the summit curve. Now the second type of curve is valley curve. Valley curves are also known as sag curves. Since the vertical curves have their convexity downwards. Okay, now these curves have their convexity downwards, you can see here, or their concavity upwards and convexity downwards. Now again there are 4 conditions for formation of a valley curve. When a descending gradient meets another descending gradient. Okay, when minus n1 meets minus n2, where minus n1 is steeper than minus n2. Okay, in that case what would be the deflection angle? It would be minus n1 minus of minus n2. Okay, so this would be n2 minus n1. Okay, the formula written over here is wrong. It would be n2 minus n1. Okay, now when a descending gradient meets a flat gradient. Okay, so descending gradient is nothing but minus n1 but and n2 is 0. Therefore, what is deflection angle? Capital N equal to minus n1 minus of n2. n2 is 0, hence n equal to minus n1. When a descending gradient meets an ascending gradient, descending gradient is minus n1, ascending gradient is plus n2. Okay, so what is deflection angle? Minus n1 minus n2. Okay, taking minus as common, then it would be minus of n1 plus n2. When an ascending gradient meets another ascending gradient. Now here n1 value is lesser as compared to n2, so plus n1 and plus n2. So what is the deflection angle? That would be plus n1 minus of n2. Okay, here again the formula written is wrong. Okay, try to understand the concepts. What is the deflection angle? It is nothing but the difference between the two gradient values. Now we look at the vertical valley curve over here. Okay, so this is the smoothened out curve which is provided in order to smoothen our movement. Okay, and what condition do we use here? What sight distance condition do we use here? We use headlight sight distance condition. Okay, now the formula is used for design of valley curve. There are two conditions used. First is comfort condition. Okay, we design using comfort condition, and later on we design using HSD. Okay, HSD is headlight sight distance, and we know that the formula for HSD is equal to SSD. Okay, so this can be interreplaced by SSD. Now what is the formula for comfort condition? Capital L equal to 0.38 into NV cube divided by raised to 0.5. Okay, this is NV cube. So 0.38 into N into V cube whole raised to 0.5, where N is nothing but deflection angle, V is the velocity in kmph. Okay, so we'll obtain a value using this formula first, length of the valley curve. Then we go for the second condition, where again we have two assumptions. Okay, what are the assumptions? If the length is greater than HSD, then we use this formula, and if the length is lesser than HSD, then we use this formula. First we assume that length of curve is greater than HSD, and we use L is equal to ns square divided by 1.5 minus 0.035. Okay, where N is deflection angle and S is HSD. Now if this condition does not satisfy, then we go to the second condition, that is L is lesser than SSD. Now in this condition the formula used is capital L equal to 2 into S minus 1.5 plus 0.035 divided by N square. Okay, where N is deflection angle and S is SSD or HSD. Okay, so for valley curves we use two conditions, that is comfort condition and HSD conditions. Okay, to find out the design length of the valley curve. Okay, so this sums up our module 2 theory part.